You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith. This is a conversation that features myself and Kosta Tsourdalakis. Kosta is a member of the band from Melbourne. Their name, Unlucky. The reason for the conversation is to promote Unlucky's upcoming, it's soon-to-be-released EP. The name of that, Before It's Too Late. Let's have a listen to what he has to say. Here we go. No worries. What's been happening, mate?
Look, not much. Preparing for an EP launch, that's about it.
Well, look, I've got to tell you, you've taken me by surprise in a really good way. You're a lot different to the other stuff that I've come across on Firestarter, with the exception of Rat King. And even then, you're very different to Rat King.
Oh, right.
I'm going to pay you a very big compliment because
Awesome,
I know you're the
okay.
guitarist. I know you're the guitarist on this album here. So, look, I'm an indie journalist, and I've got my show on 4ZZZ here in Brisbane, which is a bit like what you've got down there. I think it's 3RRR down there in Melbourne. So I'm on the equivalent radio station. So I get a lot of advance releases. I get a lot of once-offs. I get all sorts of stuff. So I was fortunate enough recently to get some of Tom Morello's material. And it's
the new stuff, yeah.
It's not that good. So I'm a fan of Rage Against the Machine, by the way. Now, when I heard what you were doing, particularly the rhythmic aspect of what you're playing, he needs to give you a call, mate, because he's lost a little bit of it, but you've taken up where Bulls on Parade left off, where Evil Empire left off.
That's too big, man.
Yeah, well, it's a heavy cross to bear, but you might as well take it, mate, because that's what I'm hearing. And I listen to a lot of music. I do a lot of writing, and I'm listening to a lot of music. And I wouldn't say I'm a critical listener. I try to find the good. There's no doubt about that. And I'm always trying to find the good. But with your material, mate, it goes a little bit beyond that, because I think you've really got a great understanding. And I could be wrong here, mate, that you're significantly influenced by him, but it certainly sounds like that. But I think it goes beyond that. You understand what makes his guitar playing great.
Well, yeah, that's been my thing over the past couple of years, to essentially just push myself creatively and tonally as much as I possibly could. So I guess Morello, no doubt, has been a massive influence. The guy is a master at, just in doing just that. But yeah, I agree. I heard a few samples of his latest record, and I got to say that he's definitely kind of taken a different path, different direction altogether.
Yeah, he's almost gone populist in that he's decided that he wants to reach for as broader audience as he possibly can. And you know what? Fair play to him. He's probably almost 50 or thereabouts, and he's been slogging away for many years. But I think that a guy like him, the reason I like Tom's playing so much is because I identify a lot of classic rock in his playing. I'm talking about Jimmy Page, Brian May. You're talking about Aerosmith as well. He manages to get classic rock, Kiss, Ace Frehley's playing, and he manages to make it sound really, really cool and puts a boogie and a swagger to it that nobody else really is able to do.
Yeah.
But he just hasn't done enough of it lately, as we know. I saw...
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, well, I saw Prophets of Rage down at Download, and look, it's okay. If you want Rage Against the Machine, that's the next best thing, I suppose, and there's a lot of yelling and sirens and stuff going on, but for somebody like myself who's focused on his performance is squarely rooted in his musicianship, I want him to be more of that. Now, I understand, as I say, he's got to lean into some of the other political and the socially aware stuff that he likes to engage in, but he's an excellent guitarist. Sure. He's an outstanding guitarist, and I'm hearing so much of his work in your stuff, but as I say, mate, I think you understand what makes Tom Morello great to the point where you've expanded on it, and there's a lot of Kosta in this playing. I'm not saying you're a mimic of what he's doing whatsoever, but I'm saying that you understand what he's doing so well that you've been able to build on it.
I think that's a fair call. I wouldn't be too far off there. Especially when we started out, in particular, I'd say Rage and Tom Morello in particular would have been a huge, huge influence on my playing. But now coming out of the beginning stages of the band and setting it up and whatnot, I've kind of tried to almost as much as I can pull away from that and do my own sort of thing, more so that, as you said, I don't get labelled as, oh, he's another, Tom Morello copycat sort of thing.
Mm.
So I'm glad you see more than Morello, but I'm also glad that you see the importance because he's a mad player.
Well, in the arrangements, we'll talk about the lyrics in a sec, so I'll just focus on the music for now. In the way that you've put the riffs together and the arrangements, I'm also hearing a bit of Regurgitator, Body Count, Faith No More, that wonderful band from Adelaide from about 20 years ago, Test Eagles. I don't know whether you remember them or whether you've even heard of them. Muse.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, check out Test Eagles on YouTube.
Muse, yeah.
You'll know what I mean. They're spelt Testeagles, like testicles, but Test Eagles. They were a very big band when I was a young fella. Yeah. I'm hearing a lot of Muse as well. Congratulations on picking up on some Matt Bellamy there, because that's not easy to do either. The Pixies. I was hearing a bit of Joey Santiago when you're playing as well.
Yeah, I do love a fair bit of, I don't know, the dirtier side of music, a grungier kind of, edgier kind of style. I got really into that. Even a bit of Jack White, I got a fair bit into him not too long ago, and just that kind of real raw kind of style of playing, just like not giving a crap and sort of just slamming it out sort of style. But yeah, I'd say Pixies I wouldn't say the main influence, but yeah, definitely enjoy Pixies.
Yeah, and the final one, so don't take offence at this one, because to be honest with you, like a lot of people, I can't stand Limp Bizkit, but I do think Wes Borland is a very good guitarist. Yeah. But I think Wes Borland... Oh, you're a fan, are you? You like them, do you?
No. I'm shaking my head over it.
Oh, they're terrible. They did okay at Download, I thought.
Shocking.
But it's just that... Oh, it's just cringeworthy, really, isn't it? The lyrics and Fred Durst.
It's just straight up cringe. Yeah, oh my god, it's pure cringe. But yeah, look, I'm sure some people love it. But yeah, it's just not my thing.
It was really, I got to tell you, mate, it was really surprising down at being from Brisbane, when I say down at Download in Melbourne, at the Download in Melbourne. The amount of people that were getting into Limp Bizkit that didn't look like they were people that would normally get into Limp Bizkit. Now, I'm not casting judgment on people need to look like things to listen to certain music, but I was genuinely surprised that they went down as well as what they did.
Yeah. I doubt. I'm sure in a live setting, you go off to them. It'd be a good bit of fun, but that's something I think I'd listen to in the spare time.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was what can I say? If they never came back and didn't try to release an album, I don't think anybody would really lose too much sleep. But they have an audience down here, unfortunately, somehow. I don't know how they've kept it, but in Australia, someone was telling me, because I do a lot of interviews with international people who live overseas, in other words, and they explained to me that Limp Bizkit was... In 2018 is basically an Australian phenomenon. They're not really popular anywhere else except for down here. And I had to say, look, allow me to retort. I don't know anybody that likes them. And I know a lot of musicians and nobody references them. So it's a bit like the Nickelback thing, maybe, that a lot of people listen to them on the down low and they don't listen to them in speakers. They're listening to them in headphones and in their car. And it's like a secret indulgence, like a biscuit in the middle of the night or something.
Yeah, it's a bit of a guilty. Yeah.
So, mate, your wonderful band here. As I said, I'm quite taken with what you guys are doing. So, just give me the high level overview of how you got together and what you guys were trying to achieve when you got together.
Okay, that's a good question. Look, we got together maybe. We've had a couple of lineup changes since we officially started, but I'd say what we've been doing with the current lineup is been the tightest, the strongest bands in the band. And that started about 2 years ago now. And I'd say our goal when we came together was to just make music that was true and real and raw and, had a focus on something. It wasn't just, just junky music. So we figured we wanted to create something that was unique and something that, I don't know if it's bold enough to say that hasn't been done before, but something that is, pushing boundaries in one respect or another. Yep,
fair enough. And the lyrical theme, I'll ask you about that now. Now, I appreciate you might not write the lyrics, but if you could speak on behalf of Walid, I hope I pronounced his first name there correctly. What's
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I can only imagine what you guys are singing about on the rest of the cuts, but you're dead on point with the lyrics there to KFC. So, because I'm going to be releasing this as a podcast episode and also on my radio show, can you explain to the listeners what KFC is all about, the lyrical theme?
KFC in particular, yeah, sure. So, to really sum it up, I'd say KFC is about exposing not only hypocrisy specifically of the United States, but just exposing hypocrisy that's around the world at the current time. That was kind of our goal behind the lyrics at KFC.
Yeah, and Morpheus being on the front cover, there's got to be there's certainly an obvious link there back to the Matrix, but how obvious is the link? Can you explain the Morpheus reference on the front cover of the album? Or the EP, I should say?
Well, there's a bit of an interesting story there. So the Morpheus idea essentially came from a designer we were working with. So we had the concept of the blue and the red color scheme to represent kind of truth and falsehood. So we kind of put red as being the truth. It's kind of brutal, it's kind of in your face, it's ugly, and no one really wants it, but it is the truth. So we're using red to represent the truth, and we're using blue to represent, falseness and lies and what people just want to see, sort of thing. So we wanted to keep EP incredibly basic, incredibly simple, just very bold in the face. And we had the idea of a pair of glasses, and the inside rims of the glasses were red. So essentially, looking through the glasses, you see the truth, and everything else was just a solid blue color. And we sent our concept to a designer, a bit of a graphic designer, and he came back with the Morpheus spin on it to make it a little bit more eye-catching. And we thought, yeah, it's a great idea. Having Morpheus on the cover as well completely makes sense. And he's like red pill and blue pill kind of seeing the Matrix completely links with the idea of indoctrination and the whole theme of our EP. So we thought, yeah, it's a mad idea. We'll go with that.
Yeah, that's bloody good, and it's a very good explanation, very thorough. I like the fact that so much thought's gone into it, particularly in these days that I take it you'll be selling this as a physical copy via a CD or cassette or vinyl even, but people often don't look at the album or the cover or the artwork that is associated with music as it pops up on their media player or so, but it's very catching what you've done there, and it's such a great link back to the lyrical themes. So the question I'll ask you next here is about the cut Raw Power. So you're probably aware of a band called the Stooges, Iggy and the Stooges, and they had an album called Raw. Yeah. So does that reference Iggy and the Stooges?
No, not at all, actually. To be fair, I didn't actually hear any of Iggy Pop's work until long after we actually wrote that song and long after we named that song. So that song was purely named on the basis of the, just based off the lyrics, pretty much.
Okay, fair enough. And tours and supporting the EP. So you're going to be playing around Melbourne, of course, but are you going further afield?
Okay, so currently the process of organising a tour, and I don't know if it's fair to say that anything's set in stone yet, but I'm definitely working on that at the moment, and we're definitely hoping to tour maybe end of December, early January, around about there, hopefully do a bit of an East Coast thing.
Good on you. Have you got any bands that you're thinking of teaming up with to go on that tour?
The guys on our EP launch are quite good. I've been trying to get this lineup happening for years now, legit 2-3 years of knowing these guys, and they're good fun and they're great guys. So yeah, I wouldn't mind bringing Odd Souls and Del Santo, and that'd be pretty cool.
Hey, I'll just ask you a question. Because I'm a bass player, obviously, I'm always interested in when a band has a massive sound like what you guys do. And Blackstone from the Sun over in Perth are in a similar boat, actually, but they're a duo. But you guys are a trio that doesn't have a bass guitar. But I understand that you do play the bass guitar, and you also played bass on the EP, so correct me if I'm wrong. Does the bass play any kind of a role in the music that you've got?
The bass, yeah, and that's... Look, to be fair, we had a bass player, and it was one of the biggest. You don't notice how important bass really is until you don't have it. So
yeah, true.
We were playing along, and we realised, man, this band is just straight up empty. It's got no punch. It's not thick. It's got no density to it. We figured we can't do this guitar, drums, and vocals. We need bass. So I kind of one day was in the back room where we rehearsed, just in the back of my garage. I had a bit of an old Strat there. It was one of those, cheap starter Strats, and it was all smashed up. The strings were popping off, the pickups had broken off, and I kind of ripped one of the pickups off it and thought, maybe if I stick this on my guitar sideways and have it only pick up the low E string, run that to an octave down pedal, and then feed that into a bass amp, I could essentially play bass whenever I was playing on my low E string and let the other strings play kind of the more melodic guitar stuff. So
yeah.
been working on that setup, and it's kind of been how we recorded and how we've been playing ever since.
You're a smart man, Kosta. I'll hand it to you, mate. Yeah, you've really thought about this, haven't you? The whole thing. Yeah, I love it when a musician such as yourself has gone to the extent, the detail that you have to deliver such wonderful music for people. And I understand that people who aren't musicians won't understand the nuances that I'm talking about here now. But you strike me as a sort of bloke that thinks intently about what you're trying to deliver, and you'll stop at nothing until you've actually achieved it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I really appreciate, just that emotion and that. We put a lot of work into every fine detail you can possibly think of. We don't go ahead with anything unless we really kind of strung it out and said, why are we going to do this? It's not just a matter of, why is the EP getting really just like it? It has to be because of this and this. Why do we use these words in the chorus? It's a very kind of drawn out process with everything we do. And I'd say probably that's pushed out of us a lot from our drummer as well. She's a bit of a perfectionist, and we don't release anything or do anything unless we've kind of really kind of sat down and said, hey, why are we doing this? What's the message? What's the meaning? What do we intend to do with this? That kind of thing. It's just, it can be a bit painful sometimes, but I think at the end of the day it works for us.
So you might have mentioned something there, or I just couldn't hear it that clearly. Your drummer's name is Christina. And forgive me profusely here if I mispronounce your surname, but is it Tsourdalakis? Is that how you spell your surname and Christina's surname?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
it's Tsourdalakis. It's a bit of a long name.
There you go. It's almost like mine, Mackay Smith. You wouldn't believe how many people mispronounce mine. I've actually had people, and I know you'll know what I'm talking about, tell me that I'm mispronouncing my own name. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
You get that? Yeah, you think, okay, you're right. It's just my name. But you guys...
Yeah, exactly.
So are yourself and Christina related in any way?
Yeah, Christina's my first cousin.
Aha. That would have been interesting growing up then. So did you guys exchange a lot of ideas around the dinner table when you were kids, musically speaking?
No, not at all, actually. It's kind of... almost coincidental that we came to play music together. I was been dabbling in guitar and keyboard. I played an ancient Cretan instrument called the viola. I've just been messing with music since I was quite young. Christina hopped onto the drum kit when she was maybe 15, 16, and I used to go to her place and I'd watch her play drums. And I think, man, she's pretty good, but I never even considered the idea of playing with her in the future. And it just came to be that a couple of years back, our drummer left us due to personal reasons, and I thought, Christina's an awesome player. I don't see why she shouldn't be in the band. And she thought it was a good idea as well, and that's it. That's how it started. But we never had any kind of discussions or musical jams prior to the band forming.
There you go. Rightio. So there's... how do you go... does the band act as a democracy, or is it a benevolent dictatorship with, say, I'm just picking you because I'm talking to you. Are you at the head of the tree, so to speak, and you tell the other guys what to do, and they're not along dutifully, or is it a bit more of a democracy than that?
No. I definitely say it's a bit democratic about the way we work, and it's all about everyone does a little bit, and everyone puts in, and we all contribute to each other's input. So it's very, very democratic. At the end of the day, we all input equally, and we'll have our say. It's not a matter of one person says this and we all follow. That's another interesting thing I've found about a lot of bands that I know in Melbourne. The idea of I wrote this song and he wrote that song, and it's like it's so foreign, that concept to me, because we're just so used to writing together as a group. We kind of get together, we play it out, we jam it out, and that's how all our songs come about. So I really don't understand this idea of a single band and creating the song and saying, "Oh, here guys, here's what we've written. This is the next track we're putting together."
I think what you're referencing there is people's egos within bands, and I've been in enough bands in my life. I'm still in bands right now. I'm in a really good setup now, by the way, but God, in years gone by, mate, I've pulled my hair out when I'm dealing with people and their entitlement, not just toward writing songs, but what they're doing at gigs and how much they should get paid and all the usual bullshit that goes along with being with bands.
Yeah.
It's hard, mate, isn't it? It's so hard.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, look, if you're hanging out with the same dudes, 2 or 3 times a week even, and gigging with them and touring with them, it's like, yeah, no doubt you're going to crash heads at some point about something. Yeah, it's not uncommon, but got to push through it, get it out of the way.
Yeah, it's especially when it comes down to finances. That's always been the hardest part of it by far, as I'm concerned. Is you
right.
To get a band, as you well know, to pay for studios, transportation if you got gigs outside of, in your case, Melbourne, the rehearsal situation, all of it, and you can almost be too nice to people and they don't understand that you're trying to help the band out and you're helping them out. They can just come back and bite you afterwards, can't they? And talk about... It's terrible, isn't it? But I don't think it's just bands, by the way. I'm not one of those guys that says, it's just musicians or what have you. I think the thing about being in a band is you're in such close quarters and it's such a personal pursuit. It's such a passionate pursuit, and it's so rooted in our emotional state that people tend to get emotional about it, don't they?
100%, yeah.
Mm. So, mate, this excellent release of yours, I understand it is, Before It's Too Late, the name of the EP. When's it coming out?
17th of this month, August. Coming out for this coming Friday.
Awesome. Okay. And for people listening, whereabouts can they look you guys up so they can either purchase a copy or stream it?
I guess the central hub of everything we do is a Facebook page. You just go to facebook.com/you found us, that's Lucky. You'll come across our page, or if you just search up Lucky Band Melbourne on Google or whatever, you'll come across our Facebook page, and essentially everything we have is linked to that.
Cool. Well, mate, good luck with it all. It's an excellent release, as I said. And anybody out there that's a fan of what Tom Morello has done in the past is really going to dig what's going on here. There's some really interesting lyrics here too that'll keep people thinking and get people engaged on a lyrical and on a social basis as well. There's some great rhythms throughout the whole thing. You're right about your drummer there. She's done an excellent job there. So I just really hope this finds the audience that you want it to find, and it actually does what you want it to achieve for you guys, because it certainly deserves to find a broader audience and give you guys a bit of a leg up. So hopefully you can take this a bit broader than just Australia and take it to Europe and North America, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, really hoping for a bit of traction, a bit of recognition for what we're doing as well. But at the end of the day, it's a musical thing. It's so subjective. So we're not going to be shouted if no one cares about it, or if everyone cares about it at the end of the day. If anyone listens to it, I'd be happy. And just your praise about it, and I appreciate that very much. We put a lot of work into it. As you can imagine, being in bands, it's a big job putting an EP together and working on the tours and whatnot. So
it is.
Thanks for it, man.
No problems at all, mate. You have been listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith. That was a conversation between myself and Kosta Tsourdalakis from the band Unlucky. Thank you so much for listening.